I don't think that Lala's and Gibbs' story is done. We need to see that through, not just leave it with an accident.
Austin, we saw Marielle Molino post a picture that she is back on set, at least her dog is. What can you tell me about that? Is Lala alive?
Actually, we just recast Lala with her dog Kika. She's taking over the role, and you know what? We're all happier for it. And,
no!
Yeah,
America's gonna
that dog knows their lines. She's so good. Yes,
Yes, she's alive.
It's complicated.
Lala will be back in some capacity, and she went through a terrible accident, and like anybody who would go through something like that, there are going to be adjustments, and there are going to be baby steps coming back into the workplace. It would be a tragedy if we lost Marielle, the human being and the actress. It would be a disservice to the show, and I don't think that Lala's and Gibbs' story is done either. We need to see that through, not just leave it with an accident.
Okay, I feel like you did just confirm she is alive. Baby steps coming back to work?
Yeah, right. That would all be implied in any position. If she were like any human being,
it was
that
speaking hypothetically,
right?
It actually.
I'm just saying that anybody who goes through an accident like that, it wouldn't just be that you're jumping right back to normal life.
Technically, until an episode airs, we haven't really confirmed whether
we'll just jump back in time again. Yeah.
Wilmer, what's your take? Do you think Lala's alive, and are you rooting for them?
I think she's a phenomenal actress, and it'd be a loss to network TV. But I will tell you, the nature of our shows is anything can happen. Some of the most beloved characters in the history of the NCIS franchise, sometimes, for the sake of real storytelling and the evolution of the show, people take big gambles. So no one is really safe. And we're happy to have an environment like that because it keeps our audiences always guessing and really always, speculating. And most importantly, always giving us their feedback. What do they want these characters to go through? What do they want them to experience? And I think that's also really an exciting element of NCIS. Whether it's a suspect or a victim, whether it's an agent or whether it's a familiar face to the show, anything can really happen to them. And everything has already happened to the characters in the mothership. I'm talking about 23 years of a lot of stuff that happens to. It's very complicated for those characters, but I would hope that she can come back. It'd be great to see her on the show. She's a great dynamic with you and your character. And I think it would be so awesome to see them. But look, I think sometimes, these decisions are hard to make, and we'll see in which capacity. You never know. She might have been back on a flashback. This is being speculated. So maybe in a flashback, it might not be present day. So anything can still really happen.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for whatever capacity we see her in. But Austin, whether or not Lala is alive or dead, the accident is definitely going to affect Gibbs, I feel like, because it might bring up some old trauma from losing his wife and daughter. How is he going to face this tragic event and cope with it moving forward?
Something to put your brain on so you don't have to think about other stuff, huh?
Gibbs is somebody who's gone through a lot of loss, and it seems to follow him around. And fans of the show know that it's not like it stops anytime soon.
No.
This is someone who obviously means a lot to him. For Gibbs to be in a cabin in Alaska talking about this person, reminiscing about these memories, it obviously meant a lot to him. So having her go through something so close to death or possibly losing her is obviously going to affect Gibbs. It's going to affect everybody on that show, that she's such a strong member of that team. At the end of the day, this is not a story about Gibbs. It's a story about the team. And I cannot stress that enough, that this is an ensemble piece. It's what I love about this show. Everyone gets to showcase their characters' intricacies and what makes them tick. You go home with them. You learn about their childhood. You learn about their private life, which gets to inform the audience about why they behave the way they do in the workplace. Lala's accident will only serve to create waves for everybody else.
Not to change the subject to another romantic interest of Gibbs's, but we were introduced to Diane in the season 1 finale. What can you tease about how their relationship might start in season 2? Because we know they do get married eventually.
There's so much in the canon of the show that has taken place, and the audience knows that I that I do eventually marry Diane, but that it also doesn't work out. But we're getting to paint into that picture now. You know,
Yeah.
what happened, but there's a reason they got married. There's a reason that he falls in love with her. She's somebody that enters his life at the right time. Like any romance starts, it's that they are exposing sides of you that you like. They're making you feel more comfortable about who you are and who you'd like to be. And it's really a lot of fun to see that side of Gibbs, that he is opening up to her in ways that you don't see him do with anybody else, and has a smile on his face a lot more often.
Oh, that's beautiful. Was it love at first sight for Gibbs in that moment in the season finale? Because it was
There's
kind
certainly
of
a,
like
yeah, there's certainly a spark about her. He goes from packing up the house of his family. You know, this is a place that's essentially been a domicile of sorrow to him, that he could barely walk in the door. And to have her walk in the door, this breath of fresh air, and put anything else but a smile, you know, to turn his tears into even the slightest crack of a smile, I think is a big win for Diane, and only shows you the possibilities between the two of them.